Hey folks, welcome back to this game with late age Ctis. We got some spicy stuff happening this turn. This is the turn at which we are stabbing Vaettiheim. As we can see our pretender jumping with teleport on top of this army. And this is because we need to affect some diplomatic outcomes. Well, diplomatic, we do not want Vaettiheim and Utgard winning this war against Felegra and Ulm. I would get two cold neighbors, which I don't want, and it's also going to set Man up, who's probably in position 1 to have like a runaway win against Ulm, which I don't want. The question here, you can see he only has animated skeleton, which is something we had checked. Not checked, I had asked about at least. And he doesn't have any D2s either. Literally no D2s. How about that? So he might actually have higher enchantment. But it's important that I HP route the army before the skeleton mass builds up where we're in trouble. You can see it's a very bad day for goblins. We are in neutral enemy dominion. The Remvetti are routing. It's unfortunate. It would have been good to kill more of them. But that's kind of nice, and that's gonna... We really are on the clock to get to an HP route. And right now it's not looking like we will. What's really important, we just fatigued out. And once we fatigue out, our rate of killing skeletons becomes very low. But we just got it. The armies of Vaettiheim have routed. So there you can see. Pretty important. Now the skeleton's going to start dissolving and we will chop our way through. This is very close. I was kind of expecting... I think it was like 50-50. I only did 2 tests, but one worked and one didn't. So hence 50-50. But I had only done 1 test, and in it, we won half the time and the other half of the time we ran. And then a small percent of the time we turn timered and died. Like, to the final turn timer. So, anyway, that's good. We took this. We take this from Ulm, which gave us a magic phase retreat route, which was really important. And then we took this from Ulm, so that as part of the deal for us joining this war against Vaettiheim. Though I think he may have also not wanted to give it to Man. Man approaches me after this and is upset that I have this. And I'm like, well, it's part of my deal with Ulm. And he's like, I don't consider this part of our non-aggression pact. This throne is mine. Like, he's never had this throne. There's no man in here. He says it was rightfully his because it was originally owned by Midgard. Thing is, this is a shitty throne. Throne of the first stage, increased magic, blessed troops get +1 MR. I mean, that would be kind of nice. Am I going to fight a war over this? Oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no. So I told Man, I was hoping he would just let me accept it. I think I'd be able to kill Man right now. But I don't really want to do that. I think I would rather not let Bogarus power up. And I think Ulm actually has a decent shot at inflicting some crippling damage on Man. And if I'm going to turn on Man, I can do so when he's busy eating Ulm. Not right now at the outset. But more or less, I kind of don't want to fight them. What I hope is they get quagmired with Ulm and don't make progress. Not sure that's going to happen, though. Kalas is interested in... Patala is interested in Man not getting much bigger. So if we need to go on him, I could team up with Patala and do it. Maybe somebody else too. If Man is, they're a little bit on the clock. They don't have blood. They have an awake expander. They don't have amazing scales. I mean, I can't say that to anybody. My scales are horrible, but I am not on the clock. People may think I'm on the clock, but I'm not. So given that, it's likely he's going to play aggressive and try to win. He's only got 1 throne right now. I think this is his, but then this would be a second. There's a lot. I think it's like 8 thrones to win here, so I'm not really worried about him pulling out a W, like throne rushing. But if he starts getting too far ahead, people are going to want to chop him down. So Anyway, it's just, there's a bunch of things I can do to fuck with them that I'm pretty close to having. Like, we're not very far away from bone grinding, which is something Ctis can do really well. Like, we can do this with D4 Sauromancers. We put, like, some death gear on them. We give them a Ring of Returning and a Robe of Ethereality or whatever. And we just have them do bone grinding with a little bit of chaff. And back home they go. So, those kits are pretty expensive, but we could make a couple of them. So, anyway... We've got ways to really, like, if we had 2 of them and we could have them cast them twice each, it would be a pretty bad day for man. A pretty bad day indeed. Yeah. So, ideally we also get Astral Mages. Like Twist Fate pairs really well with bone grinding traps. So another reason getting some of these sages and maybe shuffling a couple up here, just so if I ever need to do that, we'll have that available. It's going to be pretty clutch. Here we actually had an unfortunate incident with Vaettiheim. They're shooting at my little piglets, and just as we close, they run. We managed to get their commander here, and then they were... Yeah. It's actually a really close battle. I probably should have used... We lost the Animist, we lost the captain... I mean, the Atavi chieftain. So we lost a lot of our siege chaff. I probably should have just gone ahead and cast Swarm some, which would have been really nice here. But I was kind of being a cheap bastard. So, what am I going to do? But all in all, you know, it worked pretty well. Vaettiheim... apparently, Falegra also took this fort off Vaettiheim. Though, unfortunately, Falegra lost this fort to Utgard. And guys, look at this murder squad of Garmherdings. So painful. These guys are just so violent. 37 slashing damage. They go berserk. Ooh. Yeah, once they go berserk, it's bad news bears. 40 damage? I mean, holy shit. So anyway, you know, that's not good. I'm sending 10 Earth Gems to Falegra. He's sending me Astral and Death. I told him about defense tanking and said the Cyclops may be able to do it. I didn't, like, fully test it for him. I just showed him what it would look like. On one hand, we were talking about this last episode. If Falegra falls, it's not the end of the world for me. As long as Vaettiheim doesn't get him. If Utgard gets him, that's kind of fine. Because I want... And I also want Ulm to be strong to fight man. So, Utgard... I mean, yeah, Falegra falling to Utgard is fine, but I would rather it not be a steamroll. That would be kind of better. And I'm actually very happy if Falegra lives and kills Utgard, because then that means there's no Illwinter later, which I would appreciate. So, anyway, that's why I'm kind of helping them. They haven't been very chatty, so I probably wouldn't be helping them otherwise, because normally I kind of just tend to passively help people who are chatty with me. But in this situation, I definitely... And it kind of sucks for him. Like, can you imagine having to fight Hellbless, Utgard, and Vaettiheim for your first war? I can't think of anything more horrible. It just sounds like the worst. The absolute worst. Defense tanking, if you don't know, is basically... You can really only do it... Well, I mean, there's a few ways to do it, but one of the ways to do it is when you're fighting units like this. They're size 4, so they're only 1 per tile, and they have 1 attack. So these guys are going to give you about as low of a harass penalty as possible. And he doesn't have any size 2s, like from Skelly Spam, to slip in the cracks, which will add to the harass penalty. Like, double it, actually. So because he doesn't have that, you can defense tank them, which basically means getting enough defense so that even when you're fully harassed down, and by fully I mean as much as that army comp is going to do it, you're still at high enough defense that you're only getting hit maybe 1 out of 3 shots. And when you combine that with other layers of protection, like protection and temper flash and flying shield and shit like that, you and regen and stuff, you can actually tank these Garm hurtings. Problems are, like we had talked about, if they reach a certain kind of critical mass, you can't kill them before the battle time's out. So I'm not exactly how that would work for him. On one hand, when I tested it with my god, I didn't have quickness. On the other hand, when I tested it with my god, I have the poison aura, which really helps. So anyway, that's that. So the question now is, Vaettiheim has a ton of stuff in their capital. How do we get out? This fort is popped, so Ulm's presumably going to storm this turn. I hope he's successful. Ulm said he's going to be moving something here to take this, which is fine with me. Ulm also sent me some gems this turn. This was to pay for the risk of sending my god in. Unfortunately, so here's the thing. So we could do returning. The problem with returning is we've got, I think, Loggy's mod on here. There's a 7% chance we get lost in the void, which is really bad. Not something I'm excited about one little bit. So we can get insanity and shit like that. It's just not something I like. So what are we going to do? We're going to hope he doesn't attack this and win. And we're going to hope he doesn't attack this province and win. He hasn't been doing much counter raiding, it doesn't look like. So I don't think he has stealthy squads that are just going to walk in here and attack us and clobber us. But if he does, we could be in trouble, because we're not actually going to do returning, even though I put the gems on him. We're just going to do Soul Vortex and Vulnerability, Personal Regen, and Retreat. Now, why are we doing this instead of just Retreat? Well, the answer is pretty simple. If he has Lifelong Protections, I want to get Soul Vortex up. And then Invulnerability and Personal Regen are going to make it really hard for them to attack, to damage us. And hopefully we can just push our way out. Like, retreat our way out. So we'll see. I think this will work if we... What I'm worried is, of course, he moves the whole army here. We're also very likely to get cursed. And that's just going to come with the territory here. It sucks, right? But there's nothing I can do much about it. I just don't really want to go to the void. So it's possible we get outplayed here and lose our god again. This is a really risky maneuver, but this maneuver guarantees Ulm gets this fort, which gives me like a buffer between Vaettiheim coming back and getting this fort from me. And it's much more likely that Ulm's going to win the war against Vaettiheim. It's just, I really can't let the game state slip where Vaettiheim and Man conquer Ulm. I really don't want that to happen. Meanwhile, we stormed this fort, and we were pretty successful. I think we lost a couple... What if we lost them to friendly fire? Yeah, we lost a tomb guard and a crossbowman. Apparently that was the friendly fire. The crossbowman must have killed a tomb guard, and then they also must have hit a tomb worm or something and gotten damage reflection. Thank you, guys. But we take this, and we get the Earthblood Seepage, the Murdering Mire, and so our death germs are up to 13 per turn, and that is going to put us at a rate where we can cast Tomb King literally every other turn. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Yeah. So we're casting it this turn because we got a big death gem import, and it is 18 gems to cast. So we're getting a discount to 5. Go from 25 down to 25 down to 7. So it's costing us, 18 to cast it. And Yeah, that's sick. That's a huge discount. We're also going to be able to twice born and stuff. We might do that next turn with this person and then use them here to finish off Vaettiheim and whatever happens. We've also built up very good will with Falegra and very good will with Ulm. We have very good will with, I think, a lot of our neighbors. We've probably pissed Marignan off, but they're dead. And we've pissed Vaettiheim off, but they're dead. So you can't really win dominions without pissing people off a little bit. We were polite to them, to both players, which you should try, in my opinion, strive to be. But we did piss them off. These actually have really good sites in them, too. Got a Graveyard of the Damned. I might try to hold on to this. I'm going to ask Ulm if this can be mine. So, we'll see. I'm also putting him at the back, so hopefully I can dodge Spirit Curse or Normal Curse or whatever. So that is all on this front. For research, we are up at 485, which is a major improvement over last turn. Our research graph's starting to kind of inflect up, which is nice. We're well on that 14 turns or whatever until Construction 8. We'll be getting Enchantment 5 this turn, which will be nice. That means we have Horde of Skeletons we can do, and we can do some of the, like... I think we can already do Cold Resistance, right? Yeah, we can do Cold Resistance if we have to fight Utgard or something. But we're also going to have a Fire Ward, Flame Ward, which is going to be nice as well. So a bunch of things we can do with having Enchantment 5 that are nice to just have in our pocket. We're getting 9 Serpents a turn here, which is significant. And I think we're going to just keep these guys making Serpents up here in case we need to go to war with Man or Bogaroos. And this is going to become our main center for the moment anyway. And so we'll probably have 9 Serpents a turn, 9 Serpents a turn down here. And that's just how that's going to be. I also owe Man a... Man is sending me... So Man wants this back, and I told him, that's fine, I'm not really going to fight you for it, but it'd be nice if you pay me something, because, like, this is kind of part of my deal for why I was like, okay, I'll help Ulm and go on Vaettiheim. Man didn't really want to pay me if he knew that that I knew he was ending his non-aggression pact with Ulm, but so far as I'm concerned, he can pay me for this. Like, would be nice for me to have a throne. But I told him he didn't have to, but I would appreciate it. So anyway, he's going to send me 10 Death Gems, 5 of which are going to be his payment, and the other 5 are going to be part of the 5 he's going to send me to make him a Skull Staff. So we're going to have to make him a Skull Staff in a few turns once we have it. That's going to be important. Man gets access to, like, Wailing Winds casters and stuff, which are going to be good versus a lot of people. Not going to be very good against me with these guys with Skeletal Legion on them. And perfect morale. We're not going to care about that. So we'll help Man out get his Wailing Winds caster. Are Sarumancers vulnerable to it? Yeah, they are. But not if we twice born them. So we'll need to think about all that stuff. I think that's about it for this turn. We're re-recruiting the Eternal Knights. These guys are moving here. So, okay, the big plan, I'm expecting there's a chance Vaettiheim could move everything here. Seems like a kind of good move. Has a shot at killing our god if he does it. Our god's going to be trying to retreat, and hopefully he doesn't cut both our retreat routes successfully. I probably should just not be a bastard and do like at least 14 or 15 PD here. Just so that it doesn't get sniped, because I don't want to lose my god. And if I have a retreat route, your gods have high enough morale that if there's a retreat route, they'll generally make it. So, I don't actually, if it's imps I'm worried about, I think I just haul ass out. I think I do Soul Vortex retreat. Because really I just need to get the imps to go away so I can get off the field. None of the other things are going to help the imps go away faster. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to haul ass off and hope that works. And hopefully between the poison and the soul vortex and the fear, all things which make imps go away pretty well, we'll be able to skedaddle off the field pretty quickly. And we'll probably get cursed. But then we'll land in one of these two provinces, which will actually be nice. But assuming Vaettiheim moves here, we actually are going to have a lot of stuff in position to take a big fight on this fort. We're going to be able to see what his army is. Presumably we'll have our god that could join as well. And we're going to have all of these guys here as well. So we're going to have a ton of Blood Vengeance dudes. And that just is going to be real cool. Very cool. And as soon as these guys move on top of the fort, so like this turn, it's obviously not popped. But next turn, this is 140 siege strength, and this is 100. So between this, the arouse hunger people moving back as well, we'll one turn pop it the turn these guys move on top of it. It won't be a one turn. We'll have sat on it for 3 turns, but these guys will have the siege strength where they would have one turn popped it. So that's significant. Did we watch this? It's kind of cool. He's got a Ctis because he's got the Mother of Monsters. This is probably one of the better units you get from it. It's kind of cool. This breath attack will auto proc when they're in melee 50% of the time. Here it's retreating though. I wonder if it survived. Could have gone to this province. I don't think it's here. But, yeah, he still hasn't popped Marignon's capital. I've also signed a NAP with Arco. I can't remember if I mentioned that, but we have a NAP 3 now. So, yeah, things are looking pretty good. If Falegra dies slowly to Utgard, we're set up to gain a lot of spoils from that. If Ulm has to pull this stuff back, we're going to get Vaettiheim proper. Because this army that we're moving in here, in conjunction with Darkness, should be able to mop the floor with Vaettiheim. I think. He's got mostly Dim Vetti. These are just not going to do very well against us. I mean, they do have a decent amount of damage. 15 slashing. We'll do like 7 or 8 damage on our Tomb Worms. If he has anti-magic, which he would, but I mean, there's a chance he could win. He'd kind of have to outplay us, though. Especially since we're bidding on all the mercs here as well. So, the Hornets are going to be pretty nice for fighting Vaettiheim as well. They don't really like getting peppered by crossbows. We're building a palisade here as well. We were going to build a temple here, but I think we're going to preach instead. We've got this Holy Tomb moving up here, so we'll be able to turn on our little free spawn recruitment here, as well as here, where we've got it going, and here where we've got it going. So anyway, shortly we'll be up to 5 places, making 5 Sacred Serpents a turn in total. And then this one, obviously, we can put a temple here. Right now I'm making a commander who's just going to upgrade this fort, and we'll look at putting maybe this guy down here once he's built a temple and stuff. This guy's going to come down here in site search, but potentially I'll move, maybe I should move this guy down here already. I think we're going to keep him up here, but I'll be looking to move probably another mage down here at some point. So I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh, did we find any sites? We didn't. And the events this turn, this is kind of cool. We got this province we magic phased on. We got an adventurer and some nature gems and erasers of protection. So that's really nice. And we get some water gems too, which is super nice. So we actually have a lot of water gems. We could potentially think about empowering our god in water. It's one of the things we want to do. It gives us foul vapors, gives us moss body. But we kind of want to empower in earth as well, so that we can forge some fancy things. If we empower her in earth, we may be looking to twice born and suicider. There's some negatives of doing that. Like, if we twice born and suicider, we're not going to have recuperation in our capital anymore. So that's a bit of a zinger. And we're not going to have poison cloud anymore. But we'll have more HP on the chassis. We'll benefit from reforming flesh and friendly dominion. So those are the upsides. And we're going to get rid of cold-blooded, which potentially could be nice as well. But we'll become vulnerable to like dust to dust and shit like that too. So that's a pretty big downside. Decent number. Pretty much all our neighbors are going to have death mages as well too. The only one who kind of doesn't is man. Though they can summon them. So, you know, I'm not... The reason we would twice born her is more to get the foot slot so that we can forge some of the better earth things. You know, like... so we can put, like, earth boots on her and then forge some of, like, the earth artifacts. Like Atlas of Creation, and so we can summon golems and things like that. Golems, I think it's Astral 3, Earth 2. Yeah. So we could also just empower her again in Earth, but it's pretty expensive. And we're sending a bunch of our Earth Gems to Phlegor this turn. Fortunately for us, our Earth Gem income is up to 4, which is not great, but it's way better than we were. Getting this Earthblood Seepage is a major big deal. So we're very happy to have taken that. Getting this will be nice as well. You can see the library here for the Sage, but one more nature income is going to be sick. Our nature income's up at 5. It's actually pretty high. Though that's going to go down. We're going to at least lose 2, so it's going to go down to 3. But it'd be nice to... I really want to hold on to this one. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. But I think that's about it. It's a pretty exciting... pretty exciting. I feel like we're doing everything right for our build. We're finding easy wars. We've got, hopefully, diplomacy not fucking up on us too bad. And we're able to do... We've got our core tech, which is not greedy, and we're about to do a big sprint into greedy tech, which is basically going construction 8. The thing that's going to make it less greedy is if I can figure out how to get my god... basically if we can get golems, that's how it's not going to be greedy. So anyway, we'll have to sort that out. We also got the enchantment discount, which is like perfect for Ctis. So, I mean, we're going to be getting, think about it this way, we're going to be getting 1 new sacred per turn. Because if we're getting this every other turn, a Tomb King, and when we summon them, they can do 2 sacreds a turn. That means every turn we're effectively getting 1 sacred a turn. So right now, our total Tomb Worm production is 9 per turn, basically. We're not really doing it anywhere else. So it's 9 per turn on turn 26. Now, we're getting 1 more here, so next turn it's going to be 11. And we've got this guy running around who could have been summoning, so technically it could have been 13, right? But he's not going to be summoning Tomb Worms for a while. We don't have anybody running around with this crew, so he's just transporting these guys south. But anyway, we're at let's say we're at 11 per turn right now. On turn 26. Not bad, but we're going to start going up by 1 per turn, which is real nice. Real nice. So that means in 5 turns, we'll be at like 16 a turn. In 10 turns, we'll be at like 21 a turn, which would be kind of sick. That's a lot of sacreds a turn. And that's going to be, this is like our dormant phase, guys. Because remember, in 15 turns, when we should have this bullshit starting to run, because we have to hit construction 8 and then we have to forge the items. So once we have this bullshit starting to run, we're going to be right at... We're also getting close to being able to do our first scout. But we're going to be right at... what's 15 turns? So it's 15 plus 11. We're going to be right at 26 sacreds a turn. And then after that, we'll switch to making... We'll probably actually stop Sauromancer production in a lot of these forts while we start building other forts that are not going to have a lab. They're only going to have a temple. And so they're going to be cheaper. And we're just going to make these guys. If we turn all of these things right here, including our cap, into making those, we can make 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5. So it's basically, between all these, we can make 6 per turn. Just these. And then these two, we'll have these upgraded by this time to normal forts at least. So that'll be another 2. So we'll be at 8 per turn we could do. So that means we're going to be at 8 sacreds per turn. So what that means is basically our sacred rate, if we're at 26 when this thing starts, now it's not going to be a steady function. It's going to be a step function because we have to gather them together. We have to cast the thing. But it's going to go... and I probably need to have like people patrolling so they get patrolled out. And ideally, I pick a province like this one to do it in, which only has 3 provinces you can get into it. So this is all stuff to think about. I think that's my province with the lowest number of connections. So I pick like this province, which has 3 things going into it, and I patrol all 3 of these. So that's something to think about doing, like generating some patrol chaff, getting this set up to patrol, and doing it in all of these forts. And that way they won't be able to see my shenanigans happening unless they do like magic phase scrying. But if I'm to do that, then it will go effectively, and like I said, it's going to be a stair-step function, but it will go from 26 a turn to 34 to 42 to 50 to 58 to 66 to 74. Like, it is going to go through the goddamn roof. And that's sacreds per turn. Right? And these are sacreds that are going to have fate weaving, regen, and blood vengeance. They're going to be exceptionally hard to deal with. It's going to be very casual for me to throw around several hundred of them. Though we have to get there. But these things are going to be happening. Like, that is going to be the game state by the time we're at turn 50. Right? Is I'm going to be at like 60 sacreds a turn. Hopefully. If things all go perfectly. By turn 60, the wheels are going to be off the wagon. We're going to be rolling in so much power. And if the game goes to turn 80, we win. I think. If we haven't been majorly derailed. So that is the plan. And that puts some numbers on it. It gives it some perspective. Now, ideally, because I still want more research, we'll be doing some things with research. We may turn these fire gems into lanterns, but I kind of feel that's a bit of a mistake with how bad our fire gem income is. We haven't site searched a ton for fire, but we've site searched a bit, and we're starting to get earth and astral. But I have to think about what we do with the fire. I think we have too little to do to do lanterns. But I'm not sure what we do instead. But ideally, we get to a state in the not too distant future where my forts with labs in it go back to making Sauromancers, and I have other forts with only temples to do the tomb worms. But we're not just going to be doing Tomb Worms either. We'll be doing a mix of these guys because they're really cheap, and Tomb Worms. What I might do is just in my places that have... I can't cancel recruitment anywhere. I can cancel at my cap, right? No. Well, in my places like this, we'll probably do... Imagine this production didn't exist. We'll probably just do like this. And this is 3 commander points, and we'll probably just make that as a unit. And then when it comes time for reanimating... we will we'll come down and we'll have the Holy One just do Long Dead Warriors, and we'll have the Holy 2 do Tomb Chariots. Tomb Worms. And we'll probably also around this time switch these guys out of Tomb Worms, and we might have them switch over. We might make the Reanimation Amulet. We might have them switch over and do Tomb Chariots, just so that we have more threat vectors. Tomb Chariots in Darkness are pretty spooky. They have pretty good defense, if I recall. So it'll be nice to have that, just so it's like it becomes harder and harder to counter us, because we're not doing one thing. So anyway, those things are all options. As you can see, our plans start to get fleshed out. Certainly, if we don't have the reanimation amulet, it's going to be better for us with this particular bless to do Tomb Worms. So that's what we're going to be doing. But yeah, things all in all seem good, and we'll see you next time, hopefully with a few more turns. But it's kind of nice to take one episode just to do a single turn where I can ramble ad nauseum and go through some of the numbers. So we'll see you next turn, and until then, take care.